Hello everyone and welcome to Bevan's Bricks. Still setting a few more things up. I hope you're having a good weekend. I have been enjoying mine so far. I had my absolutely favorite meal to eat, which is barbecue ribs. I can never, ever, ever get enough of those. And today, because it's like I told everybody, I'm going to start doing a lot of set building. Let me type something in here real quick. I'm just going to start doing a lot of sets here because, well, I'm waiting on orders that I made through Lego. And until I get those orders, there's really not a lot I can do on a lot of my mocks. So today I thought I would build this one. And it's because Amazon, in all their infinite wisdom, sent it, just packaged it right on top of it, butchered it all up. And doesn't matter because, like I said, I planned on building it anyway, but I hate when I get packages like that and they use the actual box that it's supposed to be in as the shipping box. So hopefully we're going to find that it's in good shape, but we're going to see soon enough. Hello, Redcoat Kyle, R. Claxton. I hope you guys are doing well. Aaron DeLilo, Brick Sargent, Mega Dave. Hello, hello. He says, like the 369 video. Thank you, I appreciate that. So let's get this party started. And, you know, part of my reasoning for doing that with the video, the 369 video, as you're talking about, one of my goals, I guess I should say, is to try and to get people to think outside the box. And it's like I said in that video, it's just, you know, a lot of it I'm sure is probably just coincidence, but I always found it interesting that anytime I see a building that I just think is absolutely amazing, I always find that usually there's a lot of the 369 rule in it. And so I had a few people that even said, well, isn't it just 3? Because 6 and 9 is 3, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, really, it's 3, 6, and 9. And I didn't elaborate too much in that video, and part of it was because I didn't think everybody would want to listen to me ramble on and on. But I'm a huge fan of Nikola Tesla. And what I was going to say is there's a lot to that, because in the electrical field, when you learn about electricity and you're learning all your formulas and how to calculate for power and how to wire up motors, how to wire up transformers, I find it funny because like in a delta scenario, trying to go a little technical, and I'm going to jump back to Lego. In a delta scenario, you have 3 sides. The points are 3, 6, and 9 for your motor connections and also for your delta transformers. And then you have the other leads in here, which is your 1 and your 2, your 4 and your 5, and your 7 and your 8. And the 369 is usually your motor leads for a 480 motor. But there's a lot of other situations where you see 369 as well in the electrical field and industry. But like I said, I didn't want to go into all that in that video, and I could actually go on and on. But anyway, back to Lego, everybody. Brian Botts, hey, how you doing? Macro Bricks, sup, people? Just for anybody that's not aware anyway. I do want to say that, and I'm going to say it again probably later on in the video as well. Macro Bricks is going to be going live here in about an hour himself. So I'm just going to start building this during my live stream, and then after I end my stream, I'm going to be a guest on Macro Bricks. So when I do end my stream, don't forget to follow me over to Macro Bricks' stream, and then we can still interact and talk and all that good stuff and have our general hilarity. Yeah. Kyle Knapp, hey, how you doing? Redcoat Kyle, hello, hello. Kyle Knapp says, I have seen this Lego set before, but I forgot where I have seen it. I have one over here sealed in the box from 2015. I have another one over here sealed in the box from 2012. At least I think that one's 2012, but I actually have pretty much every version of this. One of my favorite ships was the Shuttle Tidarium. And then something else I can even tell you is up over here I have the Hasbro Collector Series Shuttle Tidarium, and that's it's a very large plastic ship, but it's a very expensive collectible. Steve Weiser, hey, how you doing, my friend? Lego Fan 112, hello, hello. Aaron says old buildings are like gold mines, and yes, I agree, man. I absolutely love old buildings. What is up, Michael Fuji? Get out of there, parts. Whoop, just lost his head. Off with his head. There it is. So say I might not find that one. It just kept rolling. R. Claxton was saying, this is just a question since you are an electrician, so is electricians are really scared of a broom. That's what I was told. So, so you're asking me if electricians are scared of a broom? I wouldn't say we're scared of a broom. I don't know what you mean by that. I will tell you this, because as an electrician, I've been electrocuted a few times throughout my career, and typically, what they will tell you, especially when you are working as an electrician, or even at home, this is something good to know for anybody. If anybody's ever getting electrocuted, first of all, you never touch the individual that's being electrocuted, because the current will just continue to pass through the person that you touch into the next person that grabs them. So if you ever see anybody being electrocuted, don't touch them. And that's what maybe you're referring to as far as the broom comes in. Because one of the times that I was being electrocuted, when you get electrocuted, what ends up happening is your muscles seize. So your first reaction is you just, whatever you're doing, like if I was holding a tool, I would just start squeezing that tool, and you can't let go of it because your body's energized and you start shaking and all that good stuff. It's a lot of fun, let me tell you. Anyway, how I got saved from that particular scenario is I was an apprentice at the time, and my journeyman that I was working with actually grabbed a broom, and he saved me by taking the broom and hitting me to knock me loose from the connection. And yes, 2 months does fly fast, Day. And thank you so much for being a member of my channel, my friend. So I wouldn't say that we're afraid of brooms. Brooms are your friend, and the reason that the broom's a friend is the wood is not conductive. So that's why I'm trying to make the point here. If you ever see anybody getting electrocuted, grab a broom. You can grab a shovel. Just anything that would be plastic or wood, so you can hit the person, swipe the person, push the person away from the electrical charge that they're being energized and shocked from. But to say that we're afraid of brooms, no. Maybe pushing a broom, yeah, that would probably be the better way to put it, Michael. You're absolutely right. BS Bricks, hello, hello. And hello to Norway, my friend, and not a problem, totally understand. It is late in your guys' area, so I would be going to bed too, buddy. In Germany, it is 2:47. Yeah, it's later than I would probably be up. And then our Claxton was saying, I was told an electrician is scared of brooms because they don't like to sweep up behind them. You know what? It depends on where you go, because when I went through my apprenticeship, that is one of the key things to working in the field, working in your trade. And there are some people that are lazy bags. Yeah, that's the nicest way I can put it, that are lazy bags. But no, when I went through my apprenticeship, honestly, cleaning up is the first thing you learn, because as an apprentice, they're the one, they make you do all the sweep up, clean up, tidy up, work throughout the job. You're the gopher and all that stuff when you're an apprentice. And so really what you could say is technically part of your apprenticeship experience is learning how to clean up after yourself. To me, you are not an electrician and you're not professional if you can't pick up after yourself. I will never leave a mess behind me, because that is very unprofessional. It's very rude, and I would never expect anybody to pay me for my services if I'm going to leave a mess behind me, because that's not how things are done. If you're one of those people that can't clean up after yourself, you should possibly find another line of work, or you're going to have to drop your prices, because that's just obnoxiously rude. That's just my opinion, though, on it. And hello, how you doing, DJ? But like I said, no, never been afraid of pushing a broom. Some people think it's beneath them, I will say that, but I personally have never been afraid of pushing a broom. But like I said, you could say it's actually kind of a requirement. Because especially, let me kind of elaborate a little bit more, like where I'm at. In a factory, I can see, even there you don't want to do it, but I guess I could see where people would be more lazy in aspect of cleaning up after themselves. And typically with field electricians, let me put it that way, when I say field electricians, house wirers for lack of a better word, a lot of those guys are really bad about cleaning up, and that's because they expect there's usually a cleaning company that comes around to collect all the garbage, so those guys are actually pretty lazy. But it's not right to do that. It really isn't. And like I said, it's just, it depends on the specific area or the specific field. But what I do and where I work, I'm working in executive offices and things of that nature. We actually take vacuum cleaners and the whole 9 yards when we're done to make sure every little thing is cleaned up, because you're not going to go into a CEO's office, install some new outlets into their wall, and leave the drywall dust and wire strippings and things like that on their floor. You're not going to keep your job that long if you're going to act and work in a manner and fashion that way. Steve says, I've been blasted across the room from an electrical shock. It hurts. It does hurt. You know, it's funny, and some people think I'm crazy, but to me, 110 doesn't bother me. Like I said, I know that sounds probably nuts. To me, 110 is not bad at all. It's just, I always call that a tickle. What hurts to me is I've been hit by 480 volts, and I've also been hit by 250 DC. I'd say the DC probably hurt worse than the 480, but they both hurt like a son of a gun. But one of the things that I was hit by, and I would have never expected it, and I know now that I should, but like I said, I never would have expected it, and that's probably why it caught me off guard. As a lot of people know, I do work on cars. I always have worked on cars. And when I used to do a lot of mechanic work, I used to do custom stuff. And I would use these high-powered coil packs. I believe it's the Holly Blue coil is the one that I used to use frequently. And the point that I'm going to get with that is I never really put a lot of thought into how much power is in one of those coil packs until one day I was trying to troubleshoot. I was having a problem getting some firing. I didn't hear the firing on the engine when it was turning over, so I thought wasn't getting spark. So I did the old, this is an old school technique. With the newer cars, you really can't, well, you might be able to do it. I've never tried it, but with old cars, because you had the coil wires and all that, you just pop the coil wire off. You could shove a screwdriver up in the coil wire hole, and then you could hold it up against a piece of grounded metal, and if it was sparking, it would jump across to your grounded piece of metal. And you knew that at least your ignition system was working and you were getting spark. I made the mistake of actually touching the metal on the screwdriver and holding it down, not thinking, and oh my God, that just totally lit me up. Michael says, like ladders and shovels. Says, and then he says, got you, we were just, or LOL, he was kidding. No, like I said, it's just, because there are some really lazy electricians out there. But like I said, I am not one of them. Our Claxton says, Paul Bobby says Darren was working on it. I think he's a mess in the Lego barn. I always have a mess, so I will be saying that. But my home and then what I do when I'm working out in my working career is two totally different things. So Aaron says I have to mow. Okay, no problem, buddy. We'll see you in a bit. Fred 2, or Fred 2nd, I should say, says hi. Michael says they say it in the military a lot. For lower enlisted E4s and below, they call the Army Specialist rank of Sham Shield. The privates are the workers' bees for the force. Lego 112 says I got to go to sleep. Good night. Take care, Lego fan 112, and thank you for stopping by, my friend. And then Michael says good night, and then Aaron goes on to say it's probably like a shock from a spark. There you go. But it was worse because, again, it was, if I remember correctly, and again, it's been a long time. I don't mess with cars like I used to. But if I remember correctly, the Holly Blue coil, because they were a high volt. I want to say it was a 20,000 volt or some crazy number. The amperage is low, so you can have a high voltage, but it was supposed to be something like a 20,000 volt spark on it, and holy crap. I almost felt like that was worse than being hit. Well, I know it was worse than the 110 that I've been. It was like the worst electrical shock I ever felt in my life is how I felt about it the day that I got the little pokey poke from that. And I am missing, there we go. But again, that's just kind of it's a personal opinion, my thoughts on it. And a lot of it depends on how you're getting shocked. How can I explain that? If you are grounded, when I say grounded, like the worst that I ever remember feeling was when I got hit by the 277 volts. I was relamping a light pole, and my arm was holding the light pole, which was steel, and then I put my hand up in the fuse holder to try and put the fuse in, and it went right into the socket, so that's how I got hit with the 277. But because I had a direct ground going straight through my heart, I could hear the person that I was working with at the time. I couldn't hear a word they were saying, but I could see their mouth was moving. I physically couldn't do nothing. I was trying to. My mind was telling myself to do stuff, but I could not budge at all. I couldn't move, I couldn't talk, I couldn't do anything. But I could see everything going on around me, but I couldn't even hear anything, because the only thing I could hear in my ears was that, it was like a grumbling, growling sound, and that was the electricity passing through me. And that is the worst type of electrical shock to ever get. And here's the reason why I say that, because when you're getting shocked, because I got shocked from this hand and this hand was grounded, the path of current that's traveling through you, which is why that's all I could hear was the sound of the electricity. It's going right through your heart, and that is usually what will end up killing you with a lower voltage like that. It's because it goes through your heart, it'll give you a heart attack, and then you can die from that. Normally, because the other times I've been poked, it was a situation where I had my elbow up against a panel and my hand touched here, so the current path of the electricity just went from my finger down and out my elbow. The funny thing is, I did have a small pinpoint on this finger where the electrical shock and current went through it, so I had two little burn spots on either location. But I didn't hear the noise and all that stuff. It was just a ow, and then you jerked your hand away. Where, like I said, when it's going through your heart, though, you're screwed. I mean, you're screwed bad. And hey, Paul Bricks, hi, how you doing? And hello to Germany, my friend. Aaron says I did it 3 times. It was funny at the first time, not afterwards. Talking about getting shocked by an ignition coil. Rob says, I had a dealership unscrew the bolts connecting the engine to an old car years ago. They forgot to tighten them in again. I drove for 2 hours and holy crap. And he lost his engine in his car. I guess so. That, I would like to think that they would cover that at the dealership, though. Kevin was saying he's also been shocked by an how, like I said, it sucks. That's all I can say. That is the worst shock you're ever going to get, is a high output coil. At least, like I said, it's how it felt at the time anyway. And hey, Dave West, how you doing, buddy? And thanks so much for your order, man. I appreciate that. And Brick Sergeant said DC voltage is the worst than any other, and then AC. And just a little more history about that, and I'm going to stop talking about electricity because I see that we have like the lowest numbers I've ever had for a live stream. The biggest reason that DC hurts, and for those that don't know, you have AC and DC electricity. AC means alternating current, and DC is direct current. And the reason that DC is actually worse is because with direct current, there is no fluctuation. There's no possibility of you ever breaking free. Where with AC, you have the possibility of breaking free because the voltage, or the current, I should say, is constantly going positive, negative, which is giving you that fluctuation, and it gives you a chance to possibly get free. Fred Seconds says, what progress did you make on your city while I was gone? I really haven't been doing anything on my city lately. I am waiting on a ton of parts. I'm not sure how long you've been gone, so the best thing I could tell you to do is watch some of my city update videos, and you can kind of see what I have or haven't done. But like I said, I don't know how long you've been gone or what, so to answer that would be a tough question. Rob says, luckily I didn't fall out. Just made a knocking sound, never use that dealer again. And I don't blame you, man. And good that it didn't fall out. But I can say in the dealership's defense, when you get in a hurry working on a car, and the reason I say in the dealership's defense, because I've done it myself, mine wasn't the motor mounts that I screwed up on. I didn't tighten all my flywheel bolts. And that was back when I used to drag race all the time. And luckily, I didn't lose a lot of momentum, time, whatever you want to call it. But what it was I was trying to make my pass down the drag strip. All of a sudden, I couldn't shift into 4th gear. And I was like, well, what the heck? So I just basically put it back in neutral and just had to let the car coast to the end, and then I coasted off, and then I got my car back to the pit, and I was trying to play around with it, and then as we were looking at it, I realized what I had done, that I had forgot to tighten up my flywheel bolts. And what had happened is the clutch plate came loose from the flywheel, and that's why I couldn't shift anymore, and I ended up having to end race day early that particular day. But it didn't damage nothing, thankfully. I was able to take it home, get everything back together, and then go out another weekend for some drag racing. Oh, I get that. I've been doing that myself lately, Fred. Day says it's all good. It's not as boring as machining. Kevin says my dad was hit by lightning through a phone. Holy crap. Thankfully, it didn't kill him, but his ears rang for days, and his mouth was totally numb. Even had burn marks around it. Holy cow. I've heard stories of people getting hit by lightning, and that's why they tell you, I don't know how many people know this or not, but they tell you if you're taking a shower or anything, that you, if it's lightning out, you shouldn't take a shower. Just like you shouldn't be on anything with your phone, and we all still do it anyway. I know I'm just as guilty, and I do it myself, but I was only supposed to do that on the one side. Because that is likely, because if there's a lightning strike that strikes your house, or in wherever he was at, because he said he was on a payphone, in that particular situation, it strikes something near or whatever, it's going to pass through and come in and hit you. And that is never a good thing. But luckily your dad didn't die, because I can't imagine getting struck by lightning. I know some people survive from it, but there are people that have been killed that have been struck by lightning as well. And that just, it's not a good thing. I've also heard of people that have been struck by lightning and their hair going white, or getting a white streak or something in their hair, which I always thought was kind of interesting, because I have a birthmark that causes my hair to be basically white in one area on the side of my head, and then I have one on the back, but that's not because of electricity. I was just born that way. I was born different. Guys are being very quiet tonight. It's making it easy for me to build, though, I will say that. And how many other people have this set or are even into Star Wars? Let me ask that question. Do we not have a Star Wars audience tonight? And we want 2 here. So I know Star Wars is not everybody's thing, but I can say it is definitely my thing. I am a major Star Wars geek. Always have been and always will be. And these go here. Oop, where did I go? There it is. Where'd it go? Just lost a pin. I hate that. Once something hits the floor, man, with Lego, it is like gone. It like rolls forever. I am just going to go to my happy container of pins and just take another one. Bricklock, hey, how you doing? Let's see, I'm honestly, because me personally, and I'm sure Bricklock will even agree with me, because I know he's big into Blue Bricks, which is an off-brand Lego manufacturer, and I have to say they make some really freaking cool stuff. I put those on the wrong end. But I have really pulled back on what I've been buying as far as Lego, because I'm just not impressed with the sets at all they've been coming out. And I've always been a huge Star Wars fan, and I'm starting to lean back more towards wanting to just buy Star Wars sets, and then I do like Harry Potter, so I'm going to buy, I don't know how many guys saw that, but they're going to be coming out with a bunch of really cool sets this summer, and I intend on buying every one of those. But that is more what I'm buying lately than anything, is Star Wars and Harry Potter. I haven't been buying any city or anything. I just totally unimpressed with all of it. Kevin says, love Star Wars movies. Christopher says, I love my Star Wars. See, we got some Star Wars fans in here then. The doctor says, I caught a stream again. I like Star Wars. I got to do something. Be right back. No problem, my friend. Kevin loves Star Wars. Fred Second says I have some Star Wars, but not this stuff. I'm more Marvel fan, collecting every single Iron Man figure and every Iron Man mech. Those are some pretty cool things to collect too. I have like all the Hasbro helmets, so I have two versions of Iron Man, which is one is the it's all grays and silvers, and then I got the traditional Iron Man helmet, which is red and gold. Oh, you got 2 more blue brick sets on the way, Bricklock? That's awesome. Which ones? Because, man, I know you haven't shared nothing recently, but some of the stuff that you've shown, and then what I've even been looking at myself, it's just, it really makes me want to buy them, I have to say. It's just, for me, and I have, and you know, and there's nothing against it, it's just I'm kind of more of a purist. When I say I'm a purist, I don't mean that I am against people at all buying off-brand Lego. It's just, I have a real issue with most of the stuff that I've used that's off-brand. It doesn't seem to fit as well or anything, so I'm always a bit leery, I guess would be a good way to put it, for the things that I'm going to purchase. Especially, oh, that's cool, okay. Especially when it comes to off-brand stuff, because like I said, most of the stuff is just, I haven't been, and that's why that is like that, because I am screwing up. I haven't been that impressed with a lot of the off-brand products. Once I get them, they look cool or whatever, and then I go to put them together, and then there's issues with connectivity and things like that. And I know you've shown me on many different occasions that they absolutely are very good sets, but I still have that stigmata, if you will, of buying them. And it's just something I'll have to shake at some point. But I do also know that a lot of the stuff that you buy from Blue Bricks, correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of the instructions are, and I put those on the wrong side, a lot of the instructions for most of those are available like on Rebrickable and things like that. And that's something I want to bring up as well, is for anybody that's not aware, I am trying to slowly, why does something look amiss? No, I was right the first time. I am slowly starting to put things back on Rebrickable, just a few basic sets, and it was because I think it felt like I was doing better on Rebrickable than I ever did on my own website. But I'm not going to put all of the items that I sell on Rebrickable, just some basic stuff. So if you are just wanting to see what I may or may not have, you can find me on Rebrickable again. I only have 3 sets up there right now. I've got to go through the process of trying to get a few more listed here over the next few days. And I just found that pin. It went in my shoe. I just put pressure on my shoe, and I'm like, wait a minute. It was feeling a little uncomfortable there. And just another little note, guys. I'm going to end my stream here in a bit. And when I do, it's because I'm going to be going to Macro Bricks. I am trying to get Macro Bricks monetized. He has all the numbers, he just doesn't have the view time. So if you like hearing and talking with me, and Macro's just as awesome, don't forget, once I do end my stream, just to go over to Macro Bricks to continue on with any streaming. And you can join in on the general hilarity there as well. Just a little quick note and reminder. And I think I just prematurely put that piece in. Which sets are those, Michael? I'm not sure about when you say the diorama sets, are you talking about the new Harry Potter sets, or is there something else that they're coming out with that I didn't see? Secret Squirrel Bricks says, I'm building the Lego UCS Big Gray Dog at the moment. The AT-AT. That, you know, I've always debated buying those, but I've just never pulled the trigger on them. And quite simply, part of the reasoning behind that, for me anyway, it's not that they don't look cool, it's just they're so huge. And don't get me wrong, I mean, they're amazing looking sets, but they're so huge that I can't see me using them in a display anywhere, because if I was going to try and use those sets oh my God, the stuff you would have to build in order to mimic that would be just absolutely freaking insane. And that's why I've never bought any of the Ultimate Collector Series sets. They're very cool if you just want to have something to put on display. But for me, anything that I buy, it's because I'm looking at it as something that I can install, build, use in some type of display, and that's why I've always kind of steered clear of the USC sets, or UCS sets, but they are very cool. And I do understand why people like them so much, because there's so much detail built into a lot of those different builds that they look absolutely amazing. Did I do that right? Michael was saying there's a guy on eBay that sells reprints of stickers and old sets. And that is awesome that people do that, because that does help a lot of people get stuff that they can't get, or even that is wore out, because we all have had that situation where you have an old set. I actually have some old Star Wars sets from when my son was little. It was from the prequel movies. I'm trying to remember the name of the ship. Anyway, the stickers, and it wasn't from him playing with it or anything that damaged the stickers. Just for whatever reason, they were really poor stickers. They were very thin that came with the set, and they all just started curling up and peeling off and just breaking off. I don't know if it was a bad year for stickers or what, but there's situations like that I would personally love to be able to buy repops, reprints, or even the originals if I could find them, just to try and redo the set. Honestly, I should say I wouldn't want the original, because the way the original fell apart tells me that it wasn't a very good sticker to begin with. Hey, Mayo, how are you, my friend? And I agree, Mayo, I'm the same way. That's why I don't buy the Ultimate Collector Series stuff, because I have a few things that I've built and put just up on a shelf just for grins and giggles. Usually if I'm doing that, it's generally going to be something Star Wars related, or maybe something Marvel or DC. But it's pretty rare that I'm going to do that, so I don't purchase a lot of it. But that's just me. But everybody has different collecting styles and different things that interest them. So that's what's amazing about Lego, or all the different hobbies that are out there, is everybody can find what they like and do what they like to do. But to me, those Ultimate Collector sets they're so expensive, and it's like, man, I can't bring myself to buy that a Lego set that big just to put on my shelf. I would, because what would end up happening is I would end up ripping it apart for parts, and then at that point, what was the point in buying it? I could just buy the parts individually as I need them. Just my thoughts and 2 cents on it anyway. No problem, Fred, too, and thank you. Michael says he also sells plexiglass stands that are laser etched for info for Lego sets. That is very cool. Very, very cool. And there's a lot of different companies that I've seen that actually offer stuff like that, and I think that's really cool. And I am trying to figure out. Okay, that's what I want to do. I thought I missed a step here, but no, I did not. But yeah, I've seen there's a couple different companies though. They make, it might be the same guy that you're talking about, Michael, because it was for the AT-AT. It was this big plexiglass display. The floor on it is, I don't know if it's laser printed or what, but there's cutouts for where the feet actually fit into it and where the minifigs will actually stand in the snow. It's like a black base, and then you put this white base over it, set the Lego set on it, and then put the plexiglass over it, which is very cool, I have to say the least. But I'm wondering if it's the same guy that I've seen. But like I said, it's extremely, extremely cool. Oh, I think I know what diorama set you're talking about now. Okay. Yeah, because they're not, yes. Okay. Those are cool. Those are definitely cool looking. Lego Joe, hey yo, hey yo. Mayo says, I need some plexiglass for projects I'll build when I'm living alone. The problem right now, man, is most materials like that are just so freaking expensive. I remember when you could go and it makes me feel old to say it like this, but you could just go to, like, say, Tractor Supply or Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever happened to be your local go buy it material places, and it was actually reasonably cheap. Plexiglass has really gone up in price lately. It's gotten quite outrageous personally, but I mean everything has. Look at lumber, look at all of it. It's all just big ouch, to say the least, on prices for materials for pretty much everything. And I messed that up bad. That goes forward one. There we go. Now we can put that down. Oh, Michael says these are stands, not cases. Okay, so that must be something different then. No, because what I was saying, like I said, it's a full case and the whole 9 yards, and they look absolutely amazing. But I forgot the name of the company that was doing that. But they really do. They look extremely impressive. And if I was going to build the UCS sets, that personally is exactly what I would do, is that right there. Is buy those display cases. That way they stay dust free and all that. Keep them in good condition. It's just like another thing I've seen a lot of people with the Ultimate Collector Series Millennium Falcon. I've seen people that have built, and I think you can even buy this. It's like a coffee table. It's a glass cabinet. It's a wood frame with glass over top of it, and it really makes for a nice display piece. The one that I saw, and I believe it was on Instagram that I saw it at, it just looked amazing, and I mean, it was just beautiful. It had LED lights and everything, and wow, did it look good. And that's where that goes. But looking at it, it almost made me want to buy that set, I have to say, just because of how good the way that he displayed it looked. Because when he put it on display, he also built, it was the rest of the landing hangar from the Death Star around it as part of the display in the glass case. And man, it really looked freaking awesome. But oh my God, I cannot imagine how many parts he had to use to do such a big display in that coffee table like he did. But it did. It looked wonderful. Secret Squirrel says, has anyone seen that Brick Designers is selling? I don't know who Brick Designers is, but I didn't know there was a printed parts pack. That's cool. Because that was always my biggest pet peeve with a lot of Lego sets, is quite simply the fact of, don't get me wrong, I'm not against stickers, but me personally, I would rather have printed parts over stickers any day. And if somebody's actually printing the parts that are stickers, I would probably buy those in a hot minute. And good evening, John. How are you, my friend? Kevin was saying, yep, it's really cool, set up inside of a Death Star hangar. Okay, so you've seen what I'm talking about then. Like I said, it was just, it's like, wow, it looks really cool. I want to do something similar to that, but I want to do it with these smaller Millennium Falcon sets. I'm not going to put it in a glass display case, but I would like to do a scene where it's coming in the landing bay or whatever with the smaller Millennium Falcon set, one of my Millennium Falcon sets. I'm not quite sure which one. I have several. Need to pick a year and run with it. Oh, that goes there, that goes there. That's one of the, I have to say, that's one of the nice things about the Star Wars line for anybody that likes it or collects it. Unlike the City line, you might not have the exact same set, but it'll still be a nice set. They re-release sets like every couple years. They're just modernized. For example, the Shuttle Tidarium, I believe they're calling this just the Imperial Shuttle, but they've released, I think it's 4 or 5 versions of this set, this being the newest version of this particular set. But, I mean, X-Wings, what else have they released a ton of? TIE Fighters, X-Wings, the Land Speeder, all the major iconic vehicles in Star Wars. Lego just produces the daylights out of them, so it actually helps keep the values on them extremely low, which upsets some people. But it makes it, for people that are new to the Lego collecting and building hobby, easy for them to acquire sets that still look like, or that are still good anyway, looking sets. Whereas like with the City line, most of us know, they have never re-released any of the modular buildings or anything like that. So everybody that missed out on the previous years past are basically screwed. Whereas, like I said, with Star Wars, when that happens, you're fine. Just wait a couple years and they'll come out with another version of it. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that will agree with me on that, and that wish that Lego would re-release a lot of those modular buildings. I know the secondhand market would not be happy about it, but I personally don't think it would be a bad thing for a lot of people. There's so many new people in the Lego community now. I think Lego would make a ton of money on it, and they just don't even realize it. Or maybe they do, and they just don't want to do it. I don't know. A bunch of snow, yes. And that is because I have a variety of years of snow speeders, and what I'm wanting to do, for those that have never, I mean, I'm sure most people have seen my tables. What I'm wanting to do though is, because I have those 2 extensions that come out, I am wanting to take those, and underneath is where I'm wanting to do all my Lego Star Wars builds. I want to do, one theme is going to be Tatooine, with the landing bay and whatnot for the Millennium Falcon. Another scene is going to be the attack on Hoth, and then I want to do another scene with Endor. And with Endor, I want to have, you know, the forest going on, and then I even have like this old setup here where it's the Ewok village, have stuff like that built into it. But then, like with this particular Imperial shuttle, I want to build the landing platform that the AT-AT walked up to, and then this shuttle landed on that landing platform, and have that all like in one display. Like anything though, it takes almost an eternity to do and build all that stuff, but I've got nothing but time, right? Day says he would buy them. He's missed out on a lot. And so there's a ton of people that would buy them. But I don't know if they're afraid of lashback from people that are sellers in the Lego community, or what their reasoning is for not doing it. But I really think that they could make a mint if they re-released some of these old modular building sets. Even if it was just a limited production run. I think that because there's so many new people in the Lego community now, that they would... Okay, I must have missed a step because I have 2 pieces here that should not be extra. And it's saying open another bag. Hold on. 1, 2. What did I miss? It's got to be right here. But like I said, I don't know if it's because they're afraid that they couldn't sell, or that people would be upset and wouldn't be able to sell. There that goes. Wouldn't be able to sell them or whatever, or what the issue is. But it always makes me wonder, does Lego themselves have a stockpile of old retired sets that anytime they want a little money, they just sell a few of them out as a marked up price or something? You know what I mean? I can go to the bag 3. There we go. Michael was saying he recently purchased the Assembly Square, Birch Books, and the Boutique Hotel off of Lego, just so he didn't have to pay the higher markup prices down the road. Police Station is next. The Police Station, to me, is an awesome set. You're not going to regret it, man. And yes, that is a great thing to buy. Because Assembly Square, it was already supposed to be discontinued. I can't believe they haven't discontinued it yet. But you are absolutely right that it's better to pay the piper now than to have to pay the markup later. Kevin was saying it's pretty commercial, but I did get to Legoland California in Carlsbad. Star Wars they had was crazy. I can only imagine. I can see it. Michael says, wow, they still have, oh, as far as those sets that you bought, yes. Totally understand it. Hey, Whiskey Shred, how you doing, man? Hope you're doing well. Anyway, what are we at? Guys, I'm going to go ahead and end my stream, but I do want to remind everybody again, I'm not ending my stream. Well, I'm ending my stream, but if you want to continue listening, hearing me talk or whatever, for those of you that don't know, Macro Bricks, you know what, let me actually find and post a link real quick in the chat for you guys. But Macro Bricks is going live, and I'm going to be one of the guests on Macro Bricks' live stream. So after I leave here, give me about, we'll say 10 or 15 minutes or so, and I'll be going over to his stream. So let's do this. Oops. Nope, yep, close. I'm going to share, if it'll let me. There we go. So if anybody wants to know where I am going to be at, that is the link to Macro Bricks' stream. I'm trying to help him get view time. He has every requirement, but he's missing the view time. And I'm trying to help him get his view time so he can get monetized. So again, if you're just joining in, I am ending my stream, but the link I just shared in the chat, so you see it, is for Macro Bricks' live stream, and I believe he's doing a 12-hour stream, guys. I'm not going to be on there the whole 12 hours, but I'm ending mine, and then I'm going over there. Give me about 10 minutes, and you'll see me on that live stream, and I hope to see you guys there. But anyway, as always, thank you for coming to Bevan's Bricks. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share below, and hopefully we'll see you next time, or in Macro Bricks' stream